Hey guys, I'm back again with another memory video. This one I got the Enclosure from Sabrent, and I also got a 4TB memory SSD. I'm going to do a quick test with this new memory and enclosure that I got compared to the one that I already did on my SanDisk Extreme Pro SSD. Inside the enclosure I have a Crucial P3 Plus 4TB PCIe Gen 4 3D NAND, and it goes up to 5000 megabytes per second. The MacBook Pro that I'm using is the M1, the first iteration of the MacBook M1. This one is the M1 Pro. So the first thing that I did was to format the 4TB memory into ExFAT. Later in the video, I'm going to format it again into APFS in order to see if it is faster or if it is slower compared to the ExFAT. On the first run, I was getting 655 megabytes per second in writing speed and around 400 megabytes per second in reading speed. On the second try, I got 670 in writing and 402 in reading. These are good numbers, but it is limited primarily because I'm using a M1 MacBook Pro. If I had Thunderbolts 4, the speeds will be much higher than this. Let me show you what type of speed I get with the SanDisk Extreme Pro. This is the first SSD that I purchased. I didn't have any issues with it. It is really excellent. I got 630 as writing speed and 610 as read speed. I'm getting a new SSD because the SanDisk is only 2TB. On the second try, I got 411 megabytes per second and the read speed will be around 500. So let's go back to the 4TB and test it again so that we can see what kind of numbers we get for the final ExFAT test. So this time I was able to get 660 megabytes per second as writing speed, and I got around 400, but most of the time below 400 megabytes per second as reading speed. This is a decent SSD. You get the most out of your money, megabyte per dollars. So next I'm going to format the SSD again into APFS and do the test once again and compare it to the first test that we did. One thing that you need to know before you format your SSD or your hard drive into APFS, it might be a little bit faster if you're using it with a Mac, but it is only compatible with a Mac. APFS is convenient, but if you try to plug it into a Windows PC or another type of operating system, it will not work. I said it is a little bit faster, but do you want to trade those additional megabytes with using it only with a Mac? The choice is very easy if you have only Mac computers. On the first try testing the APFS format, I was able to get 872 megabytes per second as writing speed and 517 megabytes per second as reading speed. By going APFS, I was able to get around 200 megabytes more for writing, and I also got 120 megabytes for reading. So we can clearly see that going APFS in a MacBook, it is a better solution. You're going to get a more higher speed for writing and a more higher speed for reading. I haven't told you, do you know what kind of format I have on the SanDisk SSD Pro? So what I just did was to swap the cables. I'm using the SanDisk cable with the Sabrent enclosure, and I was able to get 872 megabytes per second as writing and 523 as reading. So on the SanDisk Extreme Pro that I'm using, the 2TB memory, it has a format of ExFAT. What I like with the SanDisk is that it gets the consistency right. It is always between 400 to 500 megabytes per second read and write always. Even if it is very hot, it still gives you the same performance. This time I got 637 as writing and 611 as reading speed. I think it is always better to have a read and write speed as close as possible in all the situations that you have while working with your SSD. The Sabrent enclosure with the SSD inside the SanDisk does deliver the same performance. Subscribe and I will see you in my next video.